This program has been made possible by a grant from Chevron.
I'm Bill Moyers. It might surprise you to know that when we set out to produce this series about creativity, the first subject we chose was garbage. That's because it's such a useful vehicle for demonstrating that you can be creative about anything. Creative people break the crust of habit. They look into the familiar to find the strange. Instead of thinking toward old solutions to a problem, they think away from them, toward opposites. It's how they make the leap from the unexpected to the inspired. They take something everybody else looks at in the same old way and put a new twist to it, the way Newton did when he looked at two familiar objects, an apple and the moon, and made the connection to gravity. Poets do it with figures of speech. She was a phantom of delight when first she gleamed upon my sight. But we don't have to be scientists or poets to use our minds more creatively. We just have to learn how to relate and connect what at casual glance seems odd to couple. Take your ordinary, everyday garbage. How many ways can you think of looking at it? As a journalist, I found there are more ways than one. It used to be a place of woods and marshes and clay-bottom ponds. Muskrats, mallard ducks, and other wildlife took refuge here. We're on Staten Island, just around the corner from the Statue of Liberty. I'm standing on the site of the largest garbage dump in the world. Each day, New York City adds 2 million pounds of garbage to this pile, plows it under, and forgets about it. Most of us hardly think of garbage at all, except how to get it out of the house so that someone else can worry about disposing of it. But in this report on creativity in America, we're going to take something as common and familiar as garbage and look at it in an entirely new way.
Mr. Thompson calls the waiter, orders steak and baked potato. He leaves the bone and gristle and he never eats the skin. And the truck comes by on Friday, carts it all away. 1,000 trucks just like it are converging on the bay. Oh, garbage, 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 garbage. We're filling up the seas with garbage, 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 garbage. What will we do when there's no place left to put all the garbage? Garbage, garbage, garbage. What will we do when there's nothing left to read, and nothing left to read, and nothing left to watch, and nothing left to watch? Garbage, 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 garbage.
We'll tour the country to meet some unusual people whose life work is centered on what we throw away. The motto for this journey is, if you want to learn something about creativity, think garbage.
Garbage, 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 garbage.
On the table.
Oh, no, but then it's diapers, maybe. Oh, yeah. Look what we have here.
One item, 12 solid ounces. Brand is Wheaties.
They call this the Garbage Pavilion. These are first-year students at the University of Arizona. Their professor, garbologist Dr. William Rathje.
I've been trained as an archaeologist, and the idea of archaeology is to learn
about past civilizations by looking at ancient garbage. What we're doing here is looking at our own garbage to learn about our own civilization. Each of these bags represents all of the garbage that a single household puts out for a city collection. It's picked up by a sanitation division foreman, randomly selected, then it's labeled by the census tract and the date of collection, brought down to the maintenance yard where we go through it.
There's a lot of them over here.
Well, when we first started, it was pretty difficult. We applied for a couple of the grants, and we got letters back that said, you know, we do social science, not garbage. And they really, I think people just really didn't understand the kind of information that's in garbage.
One item, what's the brand? Trojan, J-A-N-S.
We find meat in just about every bag. This is a chicken bone that somebody didn't want to finish. It's interesting. Usually chicken is wasted at a much lower rate than beef.
Well, we found lace panties on one occasion, in amongst everything else.
Some of these can be paired together, such as carrots. Maybe
We look for what I'd like to call a separate reality. And we find that there's a real difference between front door and back door behavior. I mean, what we find in interviews is that about 60–70% of the households say no beer is consumed at home or away from home in the average week. And the rest, you know, 1 to 7 beer containers. What we find in the garbage is about 25% of the bags without any beer containers, 25% with 1 to 7, about 50% of the bags with more than 7 beer containers, and some households that are consuming at a rate of a case every 3.5 days. They may not want to report how many they drank if they actually know. They may not know. These we can count, and that's the difference.
separate the Pampers into this bin.
From the newspapers?
No, you can keep them wrapped in newspaper.
Yeah. Based on all the interview studies about newspaper recycling, it's middle and upper income families that say they recycle the most. And what we find in the garbage is that low income, working class, Mexican American groups in Tucson recycle just as much or more than the middle and upper income when it comes to newspapers. People, whether they're behavioral scientists or whether they're, working a steel mill or whatever, when they throw something out, they forget about it. And they don't realize how much information about our society, about our lifestyle, about where we're going in the future is involved in a bag of garbage. Garbage, 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 garbage.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your attention, please? Welcome to the 10th Annual Championship Southern Hush Puppy Cook-Off. You're going to see hush puppies as good as you ever left to lip over here this afternoon.
In my old Model T, nothing to worry us, you and me. No Hydromatic or Dynaflow drive. All the 4 cylinders are jumping with jive.
Lufkin, Texas, in the piney woods of East Texas, where a lot of us grew up eating hush puppies and catfish.
All we need now is one hand to steer.
Lufkin is world famous, sort of, for the Hush Puppy Olympics, where people from these parts see who can fry up the best-tasting cornmeal. And something else. This is Lufkin's sewage treatment plant. It's like thousands of others around the country. Not an obvious place to go in search of creative thinking. But America desperately needs some original ideas about the problem represented by this plant. The problem is sludge, liquid garbage. And as much as we'd like to forget about it, we can't, because we produce too much of it. 400 billion pounds last year. It's a messy, dangerous, and expensive problem. But the small town of Lufkin, Texas came up with a creative solution. Scientists call them Eisenia fetida. You may call them earthworms or redworms. Ed Green and Shirley Pinton were in the business of growing worms. They heard that the city of Lufkin was producing more sewage than the plant could handle and was faced with spending $1 million to expand the facilities. Ed and Shirley saw how Lufkin could save a lot of money. This is such a simple idea. Why didn't somebody think of it sooner?
I think people are accustomed to thinking of very high technology when it comes to treating wastewater. It's just such a very, very simple process.
Well, show me
and this-
here what that process is. Just describe it to me. This is where the worms do their work. What do they do?
Tell you how it works. We spray the liquid sludge. It's about 96% water and only about 4% solids. And we spray that over the surface of these beds. And the worms come up to the surface and eat it. And
the liquid sludge comes out of these pipes?
Yes, we have 3 what we call feeder heads.
Any danger of them going off unexpectedly?
Oh, yes.
You're kidding.
I don't want to fumble those because...
So after you spray the sludge in here, the worms go to work. What do they do?
They eat the sludge,
Eat it.
and the castings, the byproduct, is actually worm manure.
In other words, what you call castings, if it were a cow, I'd call manure.
You bet.
Right. What we're holding here, what I have in my hand, it's city sewage. It's, you know,
Waste.
well, among other things, it's, you know, it smells. It's, you know,
No smell.
yeah, and you know, it's handling it here just, but it's dirt. To me now, it's dirt.
And the worms have turned the waste of Lufkin into good topsoil.
We are converting a very serious liability. It's a serious liability here in Lufkin. It is a much more serious liability in the Northeast where they do not have the lands to dispose of it. You're turning a very serious liability into a very valuable product.
Isn't that beautiful?
For very little money. No, nothing. I mean, you know, this guy works cheap.
Minimum wage.
Yeah.
The last time I ran for mayor, my opponent characterized me as the worm man and drew a picture similar to the Michelin tire man and made light of our project.
Mayor Pitzer Garrison was faced with a difficult choice. 3 years ago, he had to expand the existing sewage treatment plant or try something new. He decided to take a risk on the worms.
I felt like it wasn't realistic. My first impression, it wouldn't be realistic. But after visiting with the manager more and with Mr. Green a little more, well, I finally felt like that maybe it would work.
Right now, it's costing the city $100,000 to operate that thermal conditioning unit. And that is fuel cost alone. That is not maintenance. And if we could take the sludge at a point in the process where we could bypass the energy-intensive equipment and bring the raw sludge out here and feed it to the earthworms, that the city could save just enormously on their fuel and maintenance.
They're really very nice little varmint worms. They really are.
Is it possible that they can become, on a nationwide basis, an economic success in disposing of the incredible amounts of waste that our cities are generating?
Okay, and it is not only a possibility, it is going to be a necessity. It's not a necessity now. You know, we can still afford to pay $1.40 a gallon for diesel fuel to cook this stuff. But when it goes up to $6 a gallon, we're not going to be able to. So it's just a matter of time. But, you know, I'm in no hurry if everybody else is not.
In Lufkin, Texas, the worm farm is still a small-scale demonstration project. But what is happening here is of interest and importance to the entire country. Recently, the city applied for a federal grant to continue the experiment, but the government turned them down.
We will be awarding the championship trophies in just a very few moments now. These championship...
The people of Lufkin, however, aren't ready to take no for an answer. If they must, they will go it alone. How much of your sludge are you treating now with worms?
It's a small percentage of it. I'd say probably less than 10% at the moment. But our whole facility would take care of 10% of it when it's all functioning.
Do you think you can go beyond that?
Yes, we're looking toward going 100%.
100%?
If this works out well, we're looking toward going to the full 100% treatment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the announcement that you have been waiting for. The champion Southern Hush Puppy cooks of the world, Lynette Sagliola and Pappy Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Sagliola and Mrs. Brown are the first winners ever from the hometown of Lufkin.
if you don't look for something, then it will be fantastic what unexpected things you will find. All of a sudden, you will see something that you were not looking for. You never know when people are going to throw out something like this.
She is friends with Robert Rauschenberg, Fernand Léger, and Henry Moore. Her works hang in the Museum of Modern Art in New York and on the walls of the state legislature in Albany.
Garbage, 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 garbage.
She has received grants from foundations and the American Federation of the Arts. She has published 4 books, and her art has been exhibited in 35 one-woman shows.
Garbage, 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 garbage.
She has taught at the New School of Social Research, the Parsons School of Design, and the Brooklyn Museum of Art. She has just celebrated her 81st birthday and has been part of the avant-garde for over a half-century. To Shari Deans, nothing is so humble that it can't be made into art.
If you are really concentrated on looking for something, then you miss all the things that you are not looking for. It's like you concentrate on wanting to find the particular thing that you want to look for. And all the unexpected will just not appear, you know. Oh, that's a nice one. That will make a nice necklace. Well, these are all found objects I find in the streets. Squishes, squishes. This has lovely little things in there, huh? Oh! I have no idea how I'm going to use this, but this has beautiful color, you see. This is also quite nice. This might also make it. See, I make these magic breastplates that I make mostly out of found objects, or I have even some made of human bones that I got from the desiccator at NYU. I never look for anything. I'm just finding things. That's one of Picasso's sayings. And when I first heard that, I thought Picasso was, that was rather arrogant to say. Je ne cherche pas, je trouve. But now I realize that I was arrogant. I was just a young person. And I think that that's what I do. I'm just finding things. I remember as a kid, my stepfather, for instance, told me, but you are looking, you are finding things. You're discovering all sorts of things in this building and so on that I've never noticed before. I suppose I was just born that way. There's a heart here. I don't know what something is in it. Let's see. What's in the heart? Oh, a little pill. Well, I don't think I used the pill. Well, I'm working on a collage that I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Now, this is my hair. So I'll put a little of my hair into this too. Would you like to see one of my hats?
Have people accused you of not being serious?
Only serious people can be funny. If you are not serious, you can't afford to be funny or to be... I think clowns are the most serious people in the world. People just don't know it. You know, you have to be very serious in order to be able to be funny.
Tucson, Arizona, 500,000 inhabitants, idyllic weather, and 10,000 bags of garbage a day.
There is nothing glamorous about picking up garbage, but it has to be picked up. Somebody has to do it.
7 o'clock of an October morning, reveille. Mayor Lou Murphy has come out to inspect the troops.
How are you this morning, Mr. Levis?
Manuel? These are the men on the front line, the guys who pick it up, the garbage men.
¿Cómo está? Arreglos?
The entire sanitation department of Tucson is on hand. Trucks washed, uniforms pressed, and a bit more pride in their work. These inspections are assembled by a grateful city for a job well done.
Good to have you out this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
It takes a special person to be a garbage collector. It's always that put down, weak mind, strong back. That's a fallacy. It's a special kind of person to pick up the garbage because it's a necessity that has to be done. Not just in Tucson, but all over the world.
Sonny Valencia. He typifies the unusual spirit of Tucson's sanitation department. He's been running the garbage department for the past 8 years now, and during this time he's seen a remarkable transformation. It used to be the job that nobody wanted.
We had problems where people would come out on the route and they would just take off. There was a lack of discipline. We instilled pride. We instilled that competitive spirit, where if you don't have pride, you ain't got nothing. You got to do it with class.
Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Tom Price. I'm the Director of Operations for the City of Tucson, and I want to welcome you this morning to your indoctrination into our department. It's hard work, we know, but as I pointed out to you, it's important.
When Tom Price joined the city administration 10 years ago, the sanitation division was in shambles. He found broken equipment, bad maintenance, and erratic garbage collection. Absenteeism and alcoholism were high. Morale was low. After all, he was told, who wanted to be a garbage man? But Tom Price was an ex-Marine and knew the value of esprit de corps.
There are more sanitation people killed and maimed or lose limbs or injured and have disability across the United States than police and fire put together.
He started a program that turned things around. He increased the pay, added incentives, and lectured employees on the importance of their work. His best decision was to appoint Sonny Valencia head of the garbage department.
We upgraded our collectors. Not only that, but we gave them sophisticated piece of equipment that they could call their own. Something that they could identify with. That was theirs. Uniforms. The credit union. Things they didn't know before.
Sonny Valencia has been an executive for 8 years. Secretaries and assistants and 400 men report to him. It's a desk job, but on a few days each year, Administrator Valencia dons his old uniform and pitches garbage with his men.
I do come out periodically to talk to the troops, but the best way to talk to them is to work with them. And I don't mean for a few minutes and then leave. That's plastic. You got to work all day with them and feel what they feel. And then when they sit down to lunch and say, hey, I got a problem. Hey, let's talk about it, brother. What is your problem? The dust, the dirt, the maggots. Nobody wants to do that.
As a kid, you just don't dream about becoming a garbage man. That's just not your dream. That's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the time, the economy was doing bad. You just jump into whatever you can grab onto.
The hard work really doesn't bother me. It's just that, you know, like on any other job, when you get off to go have a few beers, a sanitation engineer will have to go home and take a bath. That stink that you carry will be with you for 2 days, even if you go home and take a shower. Now that gets to be a little, you know, your clothes and all that. Now, you know, sometimes I go home and on the side I work on cars, and you know, actually I take a bath just to go get greasy. because I can't stand myself the smell of the garbage coming back at your face.
The most important thing to me about a garbage man, a collector, is pride.
This represents the city of Tucson. Just like a badge represents a law enforcement officer, this represents our city and what we do to work for the people here in town.
It's whatever job you got, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you do it the best you can. And not only the best you can, but be the best at it. And I feel I'm the best at whatever I do.
Hey, I was very fortunate to work and go to college and get to where I am now. But the best way to learn any job is to start at the bottom. And what better way to start at the bottom than being a garbage man?
Good morning. Good. Almost stopped. Good man. Bring home and see us. Hi, CB. How you doing? Thanks for coming out, fellas. Bye-bye.
What bothers me most about the job is when people come up to me and say, "You're a garbage man?"
All they knew was, well, I'm a garbage man. But now, when they say, hey, I'm a garbage man.
And the truck comes by on Friday, carts it all away. 1,000 trucks just like it are converging on the bay. Oh, garbage, 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 garbage. We're filling up the seas with garbage.
This program will be rebroadcast Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock. And next time on Creativity with Bill Moyers, the first of a two-part program which takes an intimate look at the life and career of writer-producer Norman Lear. That's 1 week from tonight at 9 o'clock. Still ahead tonight on 13, meet New York's wealthy Europeans on The New Immigrants, 1/2 hour from now at 10. Our new documentary series, Matters of Life and Death, premieres with a focus on moral questions surrounding medical advances at 10:30. Cabot concludes his week-long interview with Dr. Jonathan Miller at 11, and tonight's star movie is State of the Union with Tracy and Hepburn at 11:30. Right now, stay tuned as Hotting Carter reports from El Salvador on Inside Story next.